This is lesson 11-1, Basic Geometric Ideas. Our essential question, what words can describe two-dimensional figures? And the three pictures below are just three of the things we are going to learn about. Okay, we have quite a bit of vocab for this lesson. However, you are going to need all of these words to be able to do the examples. So that's why it's very important to copy them all word for word. We have point, an exact location in space. A line is a straight path of points that goes on forever in two directions. A ray is a part of a line with one endpoint extending forever in only one direction. A line segment is a part of a line with two endpoints. Congruent line segments are when two or more line segments are the same length. Take a minute and copy those down. We have one more page of vocab. We have midpoint, which is the point halfway between the two endpoints on a line segment. Intersecting lines are lines that pass through the same point. A plane is a flat surface that extends forever in all directions. Parallel lines are lines that are in the same plane but never intersect. And perpendicular lines are intersecting lines that form a right angle. And that word got cut off a little bit, but it is angle. All right, example number 1. Now we're going to have to use our vocab to help us identify these figures. So they're relatively pretty simple, but some of them you might have seen before and some you might not. So make sure you're paying attention to each. So our first one is a dot labeled Q. So we just write that as point Q. Because obviously it is just a point. It doesn't extend anyway, so it can't be a line. Our next one is a line, and we know that because lines go on forever in both directions. They have the two arrows showing that. All we do is take the 2 points on the line, and that's how we identify it. And we put the line symbol over top. So this would be line AB. Example number 2. Now the first one you can see M ends in a point. It does not keep going on forever. So this cannot be a line because lines have to go in both directions. So M, N, I'm just using the two letters that represent the points on the ray, and we just draw the ray right over top, just like we did for the line. And then our second one has C, D, and since they both have endpoints, that's going to be a line segment. So we just draw our line segment over top, CD. Now, if you don't know what these different things are, that's where your vocab comes in. Example 3, we have line segment CD and line segment EF. And we have to put our line segment symbol over both of those. And to show that they're congruent, congruent means that they are the same length. C and D and E and F are the same length. So what we do is we write a little equal sign with the squiggly line on top. And that means congruent, or the same length. Okay, then we have a line segment CD, but this time they gave us a midpoint, which is G. So we kind of write that just like we did our regular point, but since it's in the middle of a line segment, we write midpoint G. Okay, example 4, we have what looks like intersecting lines because they are crossing. So let's start off with what we know. We know that we have two lines here. We have line S, T, and remember we write a line with the line symbol above it. And we also have line VU. And I know that they're both lines because I see the arrows, meaning they're going to keep going forever in both directions. Now I should have left myself a little bit more space here, but in between the two lines, you write the word intersects. Because they're crossing. They're meeting at a point right here when they cross. So line ST intersects line VU. Now we have a plane over here on the other side. And the same thing, we still use the points that are identified, E, F, and D. So I'm going to just write them in alphabetical order. D, E, F. And you can see this is the plane because it goes on forever in all directions. And all we do is simply draw the shape right before our letters. And we have one more example here because I wanted to go over all the different parts, everything from your vocab. So we have line AB and line CD. And I put the line symbols over both of those. Now you can see that these are parallel lines. They're both going to keep going on and on forever and they're never going to touch. So that means that they are parallel. Now the way that we write parallel lines is by basically drawing two little parallel line segments in between, and that is the symbol to show that they are parallel. And then our last one, these are perpendicular lines because they form a right angle. You can see right here, that's a right angle, all four. They kind of make a square there. So we have lines M, N, that's this line right here, and line O, P. And to show that they are perpendicular lines, we draw a symbol that looks like this in between. And that shows that they are perpendicular. All right, you have 4 practice problems. You're doing just like I did and identifying each figure using the appropriate symbols. Don't forget a word problem or question and rate your understanding.